Clearly, the lighting is agreeing with me. Anyway, upsets predictions for the entire card. I enjoy doing these, man. And I'm glad it seems like a lot of you enjoy them as well. So maybe let a couple of people get online first, and then I'll get to it. But if you're watching this after I've went live, go to the live section. There's so many things. Actually, go to the homepage of the channel. You'll find a lot of things from shorts to standard videos to live streams as well. There's so much that you can see on the channel. Anyway, let me get started with the upsets predictions for the card. Donald Mendoza, how are you, man? Uh, Rita Kemi, how are you? How are you doing, man? I'm good. I'm good. Clayton Carpenter versus Lucas Rocha. My subscribers and I went with Clayton Carpenter. Um, Kilinio, hi bro, how are you, man? Uh, Clayton Carpenter is a minus 175 favorite, and Lucas Rocha is a plus 145 underdog. Um, I'm from Fiji. Welcome, welcome. I don't think I've ever had someone on the channel from Fiji, knowingly at least, because I know my channel is viewed in around 50 different countries. But it's always nice to meet people from different parts of the world. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, actually. So Clayton Carpenter is the favorite. It's pretty annoying that every single fighter that I pick lately, they become favorites. And it worries me a lot of the time because whenever I pick these people, sometimes especially, so for example, tomorrow my predictions for Pereira versus Hernandez is coming out. So I don't know what the odds are. Maybe I should start, and I keep saying this, but I always forget. Maybe I should actually start checking what the odds are. Because now it seems like every single pick that I made last week, every one of them are favorites now. And it annoys me because now I'm worried. Because not favorites do not win all the time. But for some reason, every single pick I make now becomes a favorite. Anyway, so Clayton Carpenter is the favorite at minus 175. My subscribers and I went with Clayton Carpenter. Um, do I think an upset is possible here? I don't know, man. I don't think Clayton Carpenter is going to lose. I think Carpenter is going to probably be better everywhere. Maybe I'm saying this. Maybe I'm saying this because I don't know. Is it? I'm worried about his inexperience. Um, but I don't know. I don't think Clayton Carpenter is going to lose, man. I respect Lucas Rocha. I mean, he has a lot of finishes. So I mean, it's a risky fight. I do understand and accept that, but I feel pretty confident. I feel like Clayton Carpenter is going to be better on the feet than on the ground. I guess, but we'll just have to wait and see. But I feel pretty confidently about this one. Just that the only biggest issue for me is experience. A lot of the people who don't have that massive amount of experience in the UFC, the moment, but I don't think Lucas Rocha is an improvement. Just that I feel like, as far as experience, they are more or less on the same level to some extent. I don't know, but I feel like Clayton Carpenter should actually definitely win this one. Um, so, do I think an upset is possible here? I don't know, man. I don't think an upset is possible. But the experience of Clayton Carpenter worries me. That might play a factor in how this fight plays out. But yeah, I don't think an upset is going to happen here. But it's MMA, right? Um, anyway, on to the next one. Dan Aguileta versus Cody Harden. My subscribers and I went with Cody Harden. Dan Aguileta is an underdog at plus 155, and Cody, the favorite at minus 185. Do I think an upset is possible here? I don't know, man. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think Cody Harden is going to win. Another issue I have is the experience. But usually, usually with the situation with Clayton Carpenter and Cody Harden, normally whenever I'm worried about experience, these fights normally end up going to a decision. Um, Sometimes it's a bit of a close decision because they are compensating for not having experience and they are stepping up in competition. But I think a decision is likely possible. That's why my subscriber said the Dan Aguilera fight versus Cody Harden is probably going to end in a decision. And in hindsight, I think I agree with them because normally whenever I am worried about a fighter's experience, when they're facing someone with a little bit of experience in the UFC, like Dan Aguilera, um, even if those people are good, it normally the level of skill usually is cancelled out by the experience of the UFC fighter, even if that fighter is normally talented. Um, I have this name in my head, but Danny Barlow was fighting. Who's that? I don't want to be racist. I don't know if it's Japan, Chinese or Korean. It's not Van. Quinlan. I think it's Josh Quinlan. Yeah. Well, Danny Barlow is a very talented fighter. But he got in there and even though I remember him finishing that fight, right? I can't remember quite clearly what was how that fight ended, but it wasn't as easy as probably a lot of people thought it would be. So I think this would be the situation. The better fighter here, in my opinion, is Cody Harden, but because of his inexperience, he might win the early rounds, and then maybe Dan Aguilera might give us a heart attack in the third round, and maybe we might see him getting a dominant position or starting to win the fight somehow because then Cody Harden is a bit tired or whatever the case is. But I think Cody Harden is definitely going to win this one, even if it's via decision. With the Clayton Carpenter versus Lucas Rocha fight, I feel a little bit differently because I feel like as far as experience goes, I'd put them more or less on the same level. Um, so that means that they are both. There's no one who's going to. If anyone is going to have the experience advantage, I don't know. I don't want to give it to either of them. So, without the experience advantage, I think Clayton Carpenter should win this one with a finish. So yeah, I think I'm a little bit more confident in the Clayton Carpenter pick. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see because Lucas Rocha finishes fights, and that worries me. But I'm still saying I don't feel like an upset is possible. I think Clayton Carpenter is rightfully the favorite at minus 175. I feel like Cody Harden is rightfully the favorite at minus 185. So these two fights, I don't honestly see an upset happening. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Julia Polastri versus Corey McKenna. My subscribers went with Corey McKenna. I went with Julia Polastri. Um, Julia Polastri is the favorite at minus 150, and Corey McKenna is the underdog at plus 125. Do I think an upset is possible here? Um, I feel pretty confident about my pick, right? But there are two things that worry me, right, about this particular fight. I'm not very confident, but I feel pretty confident that Julia Polastri is going to win. Number one, my subscribers are picking Corey McKenna, right? Um, they've proven me wrong a lot of times, and I respect their pick. So whenever my subscribers speak, and I think I said this, I don't know, this week, during this week, I said this. I said, whenever my subscribers disagree on a fighter, it's always safer to avoid that fight because normally my subscribers and I exchange wins and losses, right? So if on a card, me and my subscribers disagree on 4 fights, usually what happens is they get two right, I get two right. We don't know which one that's going to be. So the best thing would be to avoid a fight whereby my subscribers and I disagree on, like this one. That's the first problem. I'm giving you, I'm telling you this based on experience. Whenever me and my subscribers disagree, normally we exchange wins and losses, right? So if our picks are different, most likely throughout the whole entire card, they are going to be right about some. I'm going to be right about some. Um, so the best advice I'd give you is to avoid this fight. Number two, that worries me. It's WMMA, and um, it's very unpredictable, especially outside the rankings. So anything could potentially happen in this particular fight. But I will say that I'm sticking with my Polastri pick. I feel like she's the better fighter. I think on the feet she's going to be the better fighter. Um, on the ground, I feel like Corey McKenna might have some type of an advantage, but I don't know, man. I feel like Polastri will be able to avoid anything that happens on the ground and actually get the win on the feet. I guess we'll just have to wait and see if I'm right. But yeah, is an upset possible here? 100%. It is possible. On to the next one, Junior Tafa versus Sean Sharaf. Junior Tafa is the favorite at 270. Wow. And Sean Sharaf is an underdog at plus 220. Do I think an upset is possible here? Junior Tafa is a horrible fighter, man. Like, I feel like the Tafa brothers are some of the most overhyped people in the UFC. I feel like they are unranked versions of Taito Ivasa. Respectfully, I like Taito Ivasa, but if they don't knock you out, they are probably going to lose that fight. Sadly, they hardly ever win decisions, and that's why they have 100% finishing rate because they don't win decisions. If they can't finish, they will most probably lose, right? So this fight is going to end probably in the first round because the Tafa brothers like to start aggressively. My issue here is that even though Sean Sharaf has like 4 fights, he also has a 100% finishing rate. So it's not like we're talking about someone who's not a finisher. The same way Junior Tafa has a 100% finishing rate, Sean Sharaf also has a 100% finishing rate. So that means both of them have the ability to finish each other. Just that it comes down to who is a little bit better. And I I don't want to use the word better to describe Junior Tafa, but between the both of them, I feel like Junior Tafa will be the better fighter. Um, but I'm not very confident about this particular pick. I understand why Junior Tafa is the favorite here, but he's not that great, man. He's not that great. So is an upset possible here? It's Junior Tafa, so I'm going to say yes. Even though I feel like he should win this fight, it's super unreliable. It's like having confidence in Taito Ivasa. I remember saying, and people were saying I'm hating. I said Taito Ivasa is going to get into the top five and drop out of the top 10 without winning a fight. And people were saying I'm hating and all these type of things, and I was like, he's not that good, man. And I was right. He beat Derek Lewis, got into the top five, and he has been losing ever since. Because I didn't feel like he was good enough to be in the top five. He just got a stylistic matchup that worked for him. That's basically how he got in there. And unfortunately, I thought him getting into the top five would push him to actually improve his fighting style. He would lose a little bit of weight, improve on his grappling because his striking is not that bad. But I felt like the weight Look at Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis realized that weight was holding him back, but he's old now. He can't make a title run. Imagine if Derek Lewis was in shape like he is right now, um, in his prime. Right? He would have been a problem. Like, probably he would have had the opportunity to also hold the belt, but he decided to get in shape late in his career, and I guess it just gives him a little bit of time to have fun fights. But beyond that, there's nothing for him, to be honest. So the tougher brothers are like that, in my opinion. They are very unreliable. So yeah, Derek Lewis sucks. Less cloud, more clouds. Wow. Anyway, on to the next one. Temba Gorimbo versus Nico Price. My subscribers went with Temba Gorimbo. Um, Temba Gorimbo is the favorite at minus 280, and Nico Price is the underdog at plus 225. Do I think an upset is possible here? Nah, I don't think so, man. I feel like Temba Gorimbo is going to be significantly better everywhere. Um, More specifically on the ground. I feel like on the feet, the Temba Gorimbo has the power, has the reach, has the accuracy, and is able to avoid getting hit. So, in all honesty, I wouldn't be shocked if Temba Gorimbo gets a knockout here. I mean, Nico Price looked horrible in his last fight. He's old as well, so there are so many elements that point to Temba Gorimbo actually winning this dominantly. Um, my subscribers feel like this fight is going to be a decision, but in all honesty, I feel like this is the kind of fight that Temba Gorimbo needs to finish if he truly believes he's going to become a title contender at some point. So Temba Gorimbo needs to finish this fight, and I feel like he has what it takes to actually finish it. I don't think Nico Price is going to be too much of a problem. Maybe in the first round, but like I said, I feel like even if Temba Gorimbo decides to stand with Nico Price, he has the reach, he has the youth. Meaning, if he has the youth, he will have the speed probably. He has the power. He has the accuracy to actually finish the fight on the feet. I don't think Temba needs to wrestle, but if he does, I think he's going to get a submission. So yeah, less cloud, more clouds. I agree with you. I think Temba Gorimbo is one of the people I feel pretty confident about on this card. So I don't think an upset is possible here. I think Gorimbo is actually rightfully the favorite. On to the next one, Jonathan Pierce versus Pat Sabatini. My subscribers and I went with Jonathan Pierce. Jonathan Pierce is the favorite at minus 135. Pat Sabatini is the underdog at plus 110. Do I think an upset is possible here? It's a close fight, man. It's a close fight. I feel like both fighters have their strengths and weaknesses. I feel like Pat Sabatini, I don't know, man. I feel like Jonathan Pierce should definitely win this fight, but I mean, Pat Sabatini is not going to be an easy fight to win for Jonathan Pierce. So to be honest, I think an upset is possible here. Even though I paid Jonathan Pierce, I'm not very confident. I'm not super confident in this particular pick because um, I feel like it could go either way. I feel like Jonathan Pierce has more tools to actually get this fight won, but on the feet it's equally matched. I know a lot of people feel like on the ground, Pat Sabatini is going to have an advantage, but I don't feel that way. Maybe if it was a grappling match, maybe Pat Sabatini would have some level of an advantage. But I feel like Jonathan Pierce will be smart enough to actually keep the fight on the feet. But that's the thing, though. I don't feel like even on the feet, it's evenly matched, right? Even on the feet, it's evenly matched. So, in all honesty, it could go either way. I don't want to lie to you. This fight is close, in my opinion. I'm going with Jonathan Pierce, but yeah, anything can happen. That's my honest opinion. So an upset is possible, definitely. On to the next one: CJ Vergara versus Ramazan Temirov. My subscribers and I went with Ramazan Temirov. CJ Vergara is the underdog at plus 210. Ramazan Temirov is the favorite at 265. Um, less cloud, more clouds. There's a 2 inch height difference, but I think Sabatini. But I would like PS to win. Okay, I hear you, man. I wouldn't. I'm not going to even disagree with that. That's why I said that the Pat Sabatini versus Jonathan PS fight is a tricky one to actually predict, largely because I feel like it's eh, both of them have like good qualities. I wouldn't go as far as saying they're elite fighters, but they are really very equally, like evenly matched. So it makes it difficult to actually predict this kind of fight. And that's why I said like an upset is possible here. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Pat Sabatini wins. So the best thing to do would be to stay away from it. Even though my subscribers and I agree on this one, I honestly feel like it's a risky fight. So the best thing to do would be to stay away from it. Unless if you feel like being risky, so that's up to you. But my honest advice would be just stay away from this fight because it's a coin flip in my opinion. Either one of them could win the fight. CJ Vergara versus Ramazan Temirov. Did I tell you the odds? Let me repeat them just for accuracy. Vergara is the underdog at 210, and Temirov is the favorite at minus 265. Do I think an upset is possible here? You remember what I said at the beginning of the stream, right? I get worried about inexperienced fighters in the UFC, right? I would have a little bit more confidence in Tamirov. Um, less cloud, more clouds. Yeah, I don't bet on fights that I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, that's a smart move, man. So back to CJ Vergara and Ramazan Tamirov. Uh, you know what? I feel like Tamirov is the better fighter here in every way possible. I think Tamirov is the better fighter, but the problem is, um, there was this guy who was fighting in Australia or was it New Zealand? On the same card as Israel Adesanya versus Dricus Duplessis. I forgot his name. The dude, I felt like the dude was the better fighter, and he was the better fighter. But what happened was that in that fight, my subscribers disagreed with me. So maybe this time it's a little bit different. You know, that's why it's important. That's why I say never ever touch a fight where my subscribers and I disagree with, because it's a coin flip. Just know that. So anyway, that guy, I forgot his name. If anyone remembers in the comment section, please remind me. He was debuting. He had a lot of hype. A lot of people believed in him. The same way people have faith in Ramazan Tamirov, right? And it goes back to what I was saying at the beginning of the stream. I worry a little bit about um, inexperienced fighters in the UFC, because normally when they get into the UFC, even if that person is probably going to win, experience sometimes becomes a problem. And I feel like CJ, um, Ken's oil up. Okay. So I feel like CJ Vergara has the experience advantage here. And he's not too terrible of a fighter. Um, I think an upset is possible here, right? And not because I don't feel like Ramazan Temirov is a good fighter. It's mainly because I am worried about his experience, right? I get wary of people who are debuting or do not have that much experience in the UFC. So I'm a little bit worried. Once upon an oil fest. Wow, that sounded wrong. Anyway, let me read. Less cloud, more clouds. CJ Vergara is good with the hands, striking, but I don't know. He let me down before. Yeah, I honestly agree with you, and that's why I'm picking Ramazan Tamirov, right? I'm not saying CJ Vergara is going to definitely win or anything like that. That's why I'm not picking him. Like, that's why I'm going with Tamirov, right? But I'm worried about experience. I would be a little bit more confident if Tamirov had an 80% finishing rate, right, or a 90%, even a 70% finishing rate. He doesn't have that. I think Tamirov's finishing rate is like 57 or something like that. So that means Vergara has a possibility to survive the fight, right? And if the fight goes long, the fighter with experience and tends to find a way to actually win a round or two or make it close. So I have confidence in Tamirov, but I think an upset is possible here largely because of experience. Tamirov is very untested. It's hard for me to actually. I would, like I said, I would have a little bit more confidence if he was a finisher. He's not a finisher. So for me, it's a coin flip. I'd stay away from this one. I'm gonna go the distance on that fight for sure. Ken's spitting facts. Thank you, man. Let's cloud more clouds. I'm gonna go distance on that fight for sure. Yeah, I think it makes sense because both of them are not finishers, so it makes more sense. Let me see what my subscribers said. Yeah, my subscribers also said this fight is going to end in a decision. So I think a decision is probably the smart way to go for this one. So yeah, my subscribers and I are picking Ramazan Tamirov. He's the favorite. I think an upset is possible here. On to the next one, Abdul Razak Al Hassan versus Josh Fremd. Al Hassan is the favorite at minus 150. Josh Fremd is the underdog at plus 125. Do I think an upset is possible here? The only reason I believe an upset is possible here, sorry about that. The only reason I believe an upset is possible here is because Al Hassan is very old. Alex Gutierrez, I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you? How are you? I feel like Al Hassan is old. I think he should definitely win this fight, without the shadow of a doubt. But I think Al Hassan is like 39, if I'm not mistaken, and that's a problem for me, man. My subscribers and I picked Al Hassan. Did I give you the odds? Yeah, I think I gave you the odds. My subscribers and I are picking Al Hassan, but I'm worried about number one takedown defense. I feel like Josh Fremd is going to be relentless, but I think Al Hassan is going to be able to find a way to avoid getting taken down. But I'm still worried. If Al Hassan was a little bit younger, and it's not purely about age. I think people like to misunderstand me when I speak about age. When someone gets older, they lose their speed, they lose their stamina, they lose their ability to take a punch. In this fight, taking a punch is not going to be a problem. Josh Fremd is not going to knock out anyone. So that's not going to be a problem. The problem is going to be takedowns. If Josh Fremd comes here into this fight and is able to somehow get this fight to the ground, it's going to be a serious problem, right? I wouldn't say an upset is possible if I was confident in Al Hassan's takedown defense. I also wouldn't say an upset is possible if Al Hassan was not as old as he is. But because of those two things, I think an upset is possible. I think Josh Fremd is young enough to use his gas tank, his youth. Let me not call it a gas tank. His youth against Al Hassan. I think Al Hassan might be able to prevent the first few takedowns. If he doesn't finish this fight in the first round, I worry. I worry about his ability to actually win this fight as a whole. So I can't believe I'm saying this because I'm very confident about this one. but I think an upset is possible here, largely because I feel like I'm worried about Al Hassan's takedown defense. I'm also worried about his gas tank, which probably is definitely going to be affected by his age, obviously, and size. Like he's huge, so that will probably affect his this particular fight. So if this fight goes to the second round, I'm going to be very worried about my pick. But my official pick is Abdul Al Hassan. My subscribers are also picking Abdul Al Hassan, but I definitely think an upset is possible. Let me reply to your comments before I move on. Yeah, I think Josh got it, even though I don't like him. Wow, I think Al Hassan is going to win, dude. Don't say that. Don't jinx my picks. Alex Morono of the night. I'm telling you, bro. Bomboclad. We shall see, man. We shall see. We shall see. Calling it now. Bomboclad facts. You look like Ditzy. Who's Ditzy? Or Doty? Who's that? Daniel Rodriguez. He got the hands. Yeah, let me move on to the next fight. Daniel Rodriguez versus Alex Morono. My subscribers and I went with Daniel Rodriguez. Daniel Rodriguez is the favorite at minus 205. Alex Morono is the underdog at plus 170. Do I think an upset is possible here? Here's another problem. Daniel Rodriguez looked incredible against Kelvin Gastelum, and I remember I said this when I was doing my full card breakdown. Daniel Rodriguez looked incredible against Calvin Gastelum, and Calvin Gastelum went toe to toe with Israel Adesanya. I know I'm doing MMA maths. I'm just saying that to be able to stand, to be able to make Calvin Gastelum turn into a wrestler says a lot about Daniel Rodriguez's striking abilities. I feel like Daniel Rodriguez was robbed largely because I don't think Calvin Gastelum would have won that fight if he wasn't overweight. He used that weight to actually win the fight. So because of that, I mean, I honestly believe that Daniel Rodriguez is going to win this fight. Plus, Alex Morono looked horrible. Actually, he has been looking horrible in recent fights. So here's the problem. Rodriguez does not have, he has the same problem as Al Hassan. Not great takedown defense. And I know Calvin Gastelum was successful largely because of weight, but still, you know, Calvin Gastelum is taking you down. I mean, Alex Morono has a shot at taking you down. That's the first thing that worries me about this fight. Um, Second thing, Rodriguez is old. The same problem as Al Hassan. So once again, and on my videos, if you're new to the channel, there are shorts and everything on the channel. Go through the channel after the stream. So on those videos, I said this fight is safe, meaning I feel very confident that Rodriguez is going to win. My analysis or that opinion is largely based on my analysis, right? It's not because I have super confidence in Daniel Rodriguez. Whenever I'm analyzing a fight and I feel like a specific fighter has a variety of ways to win, I that's the only time I feel like I tell my people that a fight is safe. And I feel like Rodriguez has a variety of ways to win. I think he should definitely win this one, but I'm worried about number one, his age, number two, his takedown defense. So because of those two things, despite how confident I am, I'm going to say an upset is possible here. Um, but I feel pretty confident about Daniel Rodriguez winning this fight. But his takedown defense and the age thing, it's not good. Even if Alex Morono has not looked good, he has youth. So and normally the younger guys have the ability to come back and look improved. which could happen with Alex Morono. He could be tired of hearing people tell him he's washed up, and he goes into the gym and puts in a lot of work, and comes back looking good. That is possible. He has the age to allow him to do that. Whereas when you're Rodriguez's age, you have to work harder than everyone in order to compete on the same level as everyone else. And that's how it is. When you get older, you have to 2 times more the work everyone else has to do in order to compete with everyone. You're not doing 2 times the work in order to be ahead. No, you do 2 times the work to be on the same level as everyone. That worries me, right? That worries me. Let me reply to you guys before I move on to the next one. Daniel Rodriguez. Yeah, he got hands. I agree with that. Less cloud, more clouds. Morono, nice. I'm not gonna lie, but Rodriguez gonna outdo him with hands. I agree with that. He got the oil. Mike Oxalon, he got the oil. What's happening with the oil? And I know it's an MMA guru thing, but he hasn't said that in a long time. Didn't Morono drop Nico a few times in that fight? Yeah, but man, you can't go life and death with Nico Price, man. Like it's not a good look. Bumbleclad, he said he had a bad weight cut. That definitely could have affected his performance. Okay, okay. Nico moves way smoother than D-Rod, bro. I could be wrong, but I got 1K in my pocket. I cannot wait to slam on Morona. Why waste it on such a risky fight, though, dude? He's only 3 years older. Okay, okay, but still, though, there's an age, right? Once you hit 35, less cloud, more clouds. Once you hit 35 in MMA, it's hard to stick to hold your belt. Historically, look at the times that Valentina Shevchenko, Amanda Nunes, Israel Adesanya, Kamaru Usman, um, who else? Who else? Look at look at the times that all these dominant champions, Alexander Volkanovski. Look at the times that all these massive dominant champions lost their belts. Right? They lost their belts around the age of 34, 35. That's normally when you start to decline in MMA. So he might be 3 years older. Um, Ronin Gaming, bro, New York here. Fact. Um, Ronin Gaming, New York here. Welcome, welcome. I'm from South Africa. So, even if the age difference is 3 years, Rodriguez is over 35. Morono is still under 35, if I'm not mistaken. And the 35 marker is a massive difference. That's why I made a comparison to people like Valentina Shevchenko, Amanda Nunes, um, Kamaru Usman, Israel Adesanya, Alexander Volkanovski. All these dominant champions lost their belts around that age. So it's not me just saying this out of my head. Even statistically, historically, there was someone who actually did the calculations historically. It's hard to perform at a championship level at 35. I know this fight is not championship level, but I'm just saying you start to decline after 35. Actually, from 35, your performance is not as good as it was. Like that's unfortunately how the sport is. Um, Bumbleclad, I don't know, man. I just wasn't impressed with the D-Rod against Gastelum. I mean, he's durable, yeah, but the D-Rod isn't a threat at all. And it's not like Morono is a threat as well. So I get what you're saying, though. Um, anyway, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. On to the next one, Grant Dawson versus Rafa Garcia. My subscribers and I went with Grant Dawson. Grant Dawson is the favorite at minus 400. Rafa Garcia is the underdog at plus 300. Do I think an upset is possible here? Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like, but I think Grant Dawson might win this fight on the feet. I think he has power, he has reach, he has accuracy. He can avoid getting hit and mix in the wrestling in order to maybe win the fight. But I don't think Grant Dawson should be a minus 400 favorite, to be honest. I'm picking him, but I disagree with minus 400. Like, it's crazy. Minus 400 is crazy. And yet, Tatsuro Taira is minus 200. That's crazy in my opinion. If anyone should be minus 400, it should be Tatsuro Taira. Anyway, I honestly don't agree with minus 400. I think Grant Dawson is probably going to win this one, and I wouldn't be surprised if he actually wins on the feet. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets his first knockout. Um, but minus 400 is crazy. So an upset is possible here. I feel like the fight will be evenly matched to some extent. Obviously, I feel like Grant Dawson on the feet might have the advantage in a sneaky way because reach, irrespective of how small it is, I feel like it plays a factor. Power plays a factor. Dawson is accurate, and obviously because of the mixture of the grappling and striking, it causes problems for a lot of people. So I think Dawson might actually win on the feet um, instead of actually using grappling. I wouldn't be surprised if he wins on the feet. And I remember calling it. I remember telling people that Ian Gary is going to grapple in order to win. And a lot of people are like, no, Gary is not going to do that. I was like, he's not going to strike with Venom Page. And guess what? Ian Gary became a wrestler. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Grant Dawson decides to actually strike or actually wins with his hands as opposed to his wrestling. Um, but an upset is definitely possible here. Less loud, more clouds. Grant Dawson might knock him out, but Garcia's significant striking is higher. He might be more accurate. I don't know, man. Um, Less cloud, more clouds. Did you watch my statistics breakdown? Some of these statistics from the UFC, but to be fair, their statistics when it came to striking was a little bit more accurate than when it came to grappling. But even then, there are some statistics whereby I'm like, no, whereby they said something like Tatsuro Taira in the UFC has only shot one takedown. So I think that's why it's important to actually watch the statistics breakdown because some of the information on the UFC's channel, but again, website is not accurate. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to start doing the statistics breakdown. I do them live, but there's so many other things on the channel. But the statistics breakdown are on the live section. Some of the information, a lot of the information on the UFC's channel, even the percentages there, I actually calculated them myself and found a lot of horrible. Once I'm done with this stream, go to the live section of the channel, watch the statistics breakdown, and you'll be surprised what you see there. So I get what you're saying about significant strikes. And I'm not. That's why I said this fight is an upset is possible here. I'm not disagreeing with you, but leaning too heavily on UFC's information, I wouldn't advise it because at the very least, I'd say watch the statistics breakdown and you'll make your own decision once you watch that. Um, because UFC provides inaccurate information, unfortunately. And I sent them an email, like a lot of emails, and they're a multi-billion company, and we we are building channels around them, so they don't have to listen unless there are a lot of people complaining, and then that's when maybe they'll pay attention. But yeah, all I can say is watch the statistics breakdown once I'm done here. But yeah, an upset is possible. I don't feel too confident. I don't know why Grant Dawson is a minus 400. An upset is definitely possible. On to the next one. Cheating Jokwani versus Jared Gooden. Cheating Jokwani is the favorite at minus 185. Jared Gooden is the underdog at plus 150. My subscribers and I went with Cheating Jokwani. An upset is definitely possible here. When I was doing my predictions, I almost went with Jared Gooden. Um, Chidi's takedown defense is horrible. Even on the feet, I don't think he's special. I mean, that's where he's probably going to win the fight, but let me see. Okay, he's definitely going to win on the feet. I wanted to doubt him, but he's going to definitely win on the feet. Yeah. I think the only way Jared Gooden wins this fight is on the ground, but it's not like it's unlikely because cheating Jokwani's takedown defense is horrible. Even though it has been improving, it's not something I can say I'm confident that he will stand up. If like all I can say is I'm not very confident in his takedown defense. I'm not very confident in his cardio. I picked him because I felt like he's the better fighter. Slightly, not by a lot, but slightly, right? So I'm going cheating Jokwani. My subscribers are going cheating Jokwani, but I'm not very confident in this one. So an upset is definitely possible here. Wow, I've called a lot of upsets. If I'm right, I'm going to be depressed because a lot of my picks. Oh damn! I called too many picks, and I'm not happy with that. I hope all these people prove me wrong, but that's the purpose of these videos, is to tell my people what fights to be wary of. Anyway, on to the next one. Brett Tavares versus Junior Park. My subscribers went with Brett Tavares. I went with Junior Park. Brett Tavares is the underdog at plus 145. Junior Park is the favorite at minus 170. Um, do I think an upset is possible here? Yeah, yeah. If you've been listening to what I've been saying, and if you've been paying attention to what I've been saying throughout this whole stream, the one key element that I've been repeating is never, ever, ever touch a fight. What's the deal with Pop, bro? Uh, okay. Let me break down the fight. I feel like he's a log. What's the deal with Park, bro? I feel like he's a log. Park is gonna slowly take the fight over. I agree, but let me try and the first to pull out has me worrisome. To be honest, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a close fight, but I think Brett Tavares is very overrated. He couldn't finish an injured Chris Weidman, and that's very horrible. I think he gets too many props for absolutely nothing, in my opinion. I don't know why people rate him so highly. Um, it's like a glorified gatekeeper. He's not even a gatekeeper. You know, has he ever been in the rankings though? Like I don't know why people like him or rather feel so confident about his striking abilities. All because he was striking with Dricus Duplessis. I mean, Dricus Duplessis couldn't breathe when he came into the UFC, and he was still winning these fights. And like I said, Tavares could not finish um, Chris Weidman, the same Weidman who complained that Tavares was kicking his leg. Like, if someone is complaining about you kicking their leg and you can't even finish them, it's not a good sign. Tavares is also old, above 35, like I was saying. I know it's middleweight. It's a little bit different. Not as different, but it's a little bit different. But he's over 35. He's not that great on the feet. And I feel like on the feet, the fight is going to be okay. Brett Tavares is probably going to have an advantage on the feet. Tavares has a bit of power, slightly more than Park. Tavares has reach. Tavares is a better defensively. He knows how to avoid getting hit, whereas Junior Park is a little bit more accurate. He throws a little bit more volume. So it's a coin flip, but I feel like Junior Park is going to win largely because on the feet, I feel like he's going to be able to survive and get the fight to the ground, right? It's easy for Tavares to win a fight if he's fighting a low level striker, I think, in my opinion, or an old striker. But Junior Park is younger, he can mix everything up. And people are trashing Junior Park for losing to, and I said this on my breakdown. I don't know why people are trashing him for for losing to Rodriguez. What's his name? Something Rodriguez. Is it? No, I forgot his name, but I remember his surname. So Robocop. I don't know his actual name, but I know his surname is Rodriguez. People are trashing him for losing to Rodriguez. Have you seen what Rodriguez is doing to people? That's not a bad loss, man. Like, that's not a bad loss. The dude looks good. So I think losing to him is better than losing to the people that Brett Tavares has been losing to. Obviously, he's lost to former champions, but I'm talking about recently. Current champions, I mean, he lost to Dricus du Plessis. That's a good loss because the person went on to become a champion. But I feel like Brett Tavares is one of the most overrated fighters in the UFC. I could be wrong. I feel like an upset is possible here. So by no means am I saying this fight is, yeah, Abdul Bashir. Yeah, Rodriguez hits hard, man. I don't know why people are like making it seem like Junior Park is trash because he lost to Rodriguez. I mean, like, it's crazy. Like, it's honestly crazy. But I do think the fight, like an upset, is possible here. Um, so yeah, let me see. Let me reply to your comments before I move on. Uh, Bomboclad, supposedly he had staph infection. I mean, pulling out because of staph infection is not that bad of a thing. At least he healed. I think it would have been worrisome if he got into the fight with a staph infection, then he probably would have lost. I think it's better for him to come back healthy. Park could take um, Park could take a punch. Yeah, he can, man. Like fighting like that with Rodriguez, it says a lot about his fighting abilities. Bomboclad, dude, Rodriguez hits hard as a MFer. I agree, dude, man. I don't know why people were trashing him for that. Um, Abu Bakr Bashir, will Carpenter win? Yeah, I broke down the fight at the beginning of the stream. The streams are some people don't know where to find the streams. So if you want to watch my streams, my whether it's my statistics breakdown, my card breakdown, or the abscess predictions, or the previous cards and everything like that, click on the channel, look at the top, you'll see home, video, shorts, community playlist, live, and everything like that. Live is where all these videos that I'm doing right now are at. So you can click on the live, but in all honesty, I encourage you to click on every section: community, shorts, and video. I think you'll like what you find there. Um, who the folk? Wow, what a name! I'm so happy. Thank you. It's my pleasure, man. That's why I do all these streams. Jonaldo Mendoza, Gregory Rodriguez. Yeah. Uh, thank you for that, man. Yes, Gregory Rodriguez. The dude is a tank. Like, the dude is a tank. I don't know why people have been trashing that guy for losing to Gregory Rodriguez. Like, it's insane. Anyway, an upset is possible here. Even though I feel like Brett Tavares is trash, I think he is probably going to win if the fight stays on the feet. If Park cannot take him down, then it's going to be tricky. But I feel like Park is going to win. I could be wrong, but this is one of those fights. Um, who the fuck? Look at me, I'm the captain now. Wow. So I feel like this is one of those fights that could go either way. So plus my subscribers and I disagree on it. And like I said, if my subscribers and I disagree on a fight, stay away from it. On to the next one. Brendan Royval versus Tatsuro Taira. My subscribers and I went with Tatsuro Taira. Brendan Royval is the underdog at plus 165. Taira is the favorite at minus 200. Do I think an upset is possible here? Hell to the nah, hell to the nah, hell to the nah. I think Tatsuro Taira is going to be the champion. In all honesty, um, I think I said the same thing when people were saying, "Oh my God, Steve Urseg went to a decision with what do you call him? With Pantoja. Like they were overhyping a close fight with Pantoja, and then they were saying he's going Steve Urseg because of that. Steve Urseg is going to beat Kai Kara France. I was like, no, dude. Like, there's no way Steve Urseg beats Kai Kara France. I didn't think Kai Kara France would knock him out like that, but I felt like Kai Kara France was the better striker. He's faced better competition. I don't like using that argument to support my um I who the fuck Ursek botched the round five though. I feel like he lost to a declining Steve. He lost to a declining Pantoja, to be honest. He didn't lose to a prime Pantoja, right? Whereas Kai Kara France was busy fighting people like Brandon Moreno, who was still hungry at that time, not the Brandon Moreno that shit the bed against what do you call him, Pantoja, and Pantoja was on his game, and that's why Pantoja versus Moreno was. If you don't know, guys, we also have awards on the channel every year. So I started them last year. This year they will be airing on the 28th of December. The subscribers vote for who deserves to win, right? So that's why last year Pantoja versus Moreno was one of the nominees. I don't know if I said that right. Nominees for Fight of the Year, along with what Jeff Neal versus Rachmanov. What else? There were a couple of fights. It's because Moreno showed up and Pantoja showed up. The person that Steve Ursek was fighting was not prime Pantoja. And that's why I said people are rating that loss too highly because that was not prime Pantoja. And I also said in that video, if you go back to it, I said Pantoja is going to lose his title in his next three defenses. It doesn't matter. It could be the next defense if he somehow manages to win his next defense. The next three defenses, Pantoja is not going to defend that belt three times, right? I said that and I still stick by that. I think Pantoja is declining. Steve Ursig lost to a declining Pantoja. Royval lost to a declining Pantoja. He didn't lose to a prime Pantoja. A prime Pantoja finished Royval, if I'm not mistaken. I think Royval versus Pantoja happened and Pantoja finished him. The second time Pantoja couldn't finish him because he was declining, but he still beat him. So I felt like people are overrating Royval's performance against Pantoja. In my opinion, that was a decline in Pantoja. It wasn't a prime Pantoja. And he's going to lose his belt very soon. Um, so yeah, I mean, I respect Royval. He has the experience advantage. I would be worried if Tatsuro Taira was untested, but I feel like Taira is tested, man. I don't think cardio is going to be an issue. I think he's going to have the striking advantage. I think Taira has the reach, the power, the accuracy, the defense. I don't see how Royval is going to beat him. Um, on the ground, it's not even going to be fair. Like let's just leave the ground. Let's just talk about on the feet. I can honestly say that the only thing Royval has is volume. That's it. But I think Tatsuro Taira can actually beat him on the feet. So I feel pretty confident about this one. I think Tatsuro Taira is going to win. Not just win. Um, There's this guy coming into the UFC. I think I don't know his name. I think they say it's Kai Akasura or something like that. I'm sorry if I'm butchering his name, but he has a lot of hype. I don't know how good the dude is, but apart from him, I don't see anyone. Be maybe Brandon Moreno might be a problem for Tatsuro Taira. Maybe I don't know about Amir Albazi. I have to see more from Albazi, but Manel Cup is overrated. I don't know why people are. I don't see anyone who beats Tatsuro Taira so far. So yeah, I think Tatsuro Taira is going to be the champion, unless Kai Asakura or something like that is as good as they say he is. Then probably the two people who will be at the top will be Kai Asakura and Tatsuro Taira and Brendan Moreno. But Brendan Moreno is a millionaire now. He's getting older, so he's probably not going to be at at his prime for a very long time. So those two dudes will be fighting each other for a very long time until one of them moves up. So yeah, I feel pretty confident about Tatsuro Taira. Let me reply to you guys, give you my parlay, and then bounce. If you're new to the channel, make sure you go through it. I'm not going to force you to subscribe, but go through the channel, shorts, community, video section. There's so much IQ rankings, risky or safe predictions, cardio. There's so many things on the channel. Just go through it and decide for yourself if you want to join the family, the 12,000 people who are subscribed. Let me reply to you guys, give you my parlays, and then bounce. And I did bet on Kai Kara France, Jonald Mendoza. I did bet on Kai Kara France because of you. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. It means a lot to hear that. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So you bet on I was pretty confident, and I think probably you were listening to me when I was breaking down that fight. And I love how I broke it down, man. It was beautiful. I made a lot of points that I even convinced myself, okay, I'm 100% sure now. Even though my subscribers were picking Steve Erceg, I was like, no way Steve Erceg is going to win. So I'm glad someone won money from my analysis. It makes me happy. Um, who the fog? Current day. What kind of a name is that, dude? Why would you call yourself Who the Fog? Anyway, I'm not saying Who the Fog, guys. I'm reading someone else's name. He's calling himself Who the Fog. Current day, Pantoja versus current day, Kai Kara France. Who do you think wins? Kai Kara France will beat. Um, Kai Kara France would beat Pantoja today. Who therefore granted the three consecutive title defenses is not easy to do. I agree. Not nothing. I'm not taking anything away from him. I just feel like there are better fighters in the division right now. Less cloud, more clouds. I agree. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Magomed Ankalaev. Brother, you think I knock out ranking? Magomed Ankalaev, you like my channel, ne? I know it's not really Magomed Ankalaev, but it's always fun when this guy comes on. Jonald, why are you saying that to Ankalaev? Ankalaev, I think Ankalaev is being done badly. I know this is not the real Ankalaev, but I think he deserves the next title shot. I think they should just give him. Just that the problem is Dana White is afraid what happened with Leon Edwards and Sean O'Malley will happen with Alex Pereira. So I think they are worried. I'm not saying Dana White believes that Alex Pereira will lose, but he saw what happened when he gave Bilal the title shot. He saw what happened when he gave Leon the title shot. So he's like, I'm not gonna risk it again, right? But I think Magomed Ankalaev deserves the next title shot. I hope he wrestles and he doesn't do all this nonsense of I'm not going to wrestle. Like I don't know. You're an MMA fighter, not a kickboxer. Why is it shameful for you to wrestle? It's so stupid. Anyway, on to the next one. Ankalaev, what are you doing here? Jonald, leave Ankalaev alone. Ranking is overrated, Grabler. I'm with the fuck, I agree. Let's cloud more clouds, not Uncle Live. Yep, 100% sure. He's not Uncle Live. He likes to come to the stream and say all these things. The Uncle Live that comes to my stream is very insecure. He always asks me if he's good enough or not. But I like him, it's fine. Um, but I doubt it's the real Uncle Live. The real Uncle Live is probably more confident. John Mendoza, Tatsuro Taira. Guys, my my battery is running out, and if it turns off while I'm live, the stream is going to continue while I'm off. So I'm going to reply to a couple. Hopefully, I can finish quickly, and then so that I can leave. Tatsuro Taira. Yeah, I agree with you, Jonald. But I reply to every comment. So if you want to reach me, just comment on any video or post on the channel, and I will respond to it. Even if I take a day, I will respond. Jonald, lock. Yes, that's a lock. Do you go live on fight nights? I want to, but I'm waiting for to get a proper setup. I want to start going live and do watch alongs. Maybe I'll start doing that. I'll see what I can do to start actually doing watch alongs, man. I want to do that because I feel like I have the most incredible reactions. Um, Jonah, that's why you are my favorite prediction channel. You see something others don't. Yeah, I appreciate that, Donald. I do a lot of research, and it makes me happy to know that it's appreciated. Um, Guys, my battery is literally about to go, and I don't want to make this stream too long. When I'm not live, I'll reply to your comment on any video, and I'll respond to it. Um, the most confident picks, I'd say I'm more confident in Clayton Carpenter, even though I'm worried about the experience. But yeah, I'm more confident in Clayton Carpenter. Cody Harden. Okay, the Clayton Carpenter pick experience is not going to be too much of an issue. Let me stop breaking down these fights. I already did it. If you want to see my breakdown, go back to the stream once it ends. So Clayton Carpenter, Cody Harden, Temba Gorimbo, Tatsuro Taira. Those are my locks. So I think that's a four. But the safest one, I'd say it's Tatsuro Taira, followed by Temba Gorimbo, and maybe Clayton Carpenter, followed by Cody Harden. Those are my most confident picks. I love and appreciate all of you. See in the comment section, or I go live 3 times now, 4 times a week. So subscribe, and yeah, I love and appreciate all of you. See you in the comment section or on Monday. Deuces.